How y'all doing? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Stan, and we got our special guest Antonio Gibson slash not really. This is our Pittsburgh expert Aaron Snowden. Yep, we are here from Manchester United.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to do our 2024 first round draft recap, and we're also going to go over some values for day two, some things that we expect from the second round, third round for Friday for the draft. And I guess so we can start round one. The quarterbacks, definitely. Six in the top 12. That's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
We proposed some trades. We did a mock yesterday. I kind of had Drake May just because I tried to go different than the consensus. Even though I did say that the consensus is Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, I can live with it. JD5, I'm excited. We also proposed a trade for the Chargers, and
We tried on the mock.
we tried. Yeah,
They did
there was
not cooperate.
definitely some technical errors with that, but we did also say if they didn't trade, that Joe Walton would be the pick. I think we hit that, and then
Everyone put a bet on that.
yeah, hopefully, yeah, we said put your bets. We said bet the farm, and then Pittsburgh, they got an offensive lineman, man.
Got another Troy.
We got another Troy. Hey,
You know
Troy.
what we do with Troy.
Hey, Troy works out for Pittsburgh, so we're gonna keep going with it. So, of course, everybody knows Michael Penix to Atlanta. I think we can start there with the quarterbacks. I think the top. I think yeah. I think the top three. I think the top three were pretty standard. I think we can start with Penix.
Maybe J.C. Latham was. I mean, he got a lot of pub to the Chargers at 5, and he ended up going to Tennessee. I mean, I don't think that's like that shocking, but nobody really foresaw Michael Penix going at number 8 after Kirk Cousins getting signed. That monster deal.
I do want to give us our flowers though, because what we were talking about for foreshadowing and presenting yourself for the future with where we put Penix with the Saints, that's almost very similar to what the Falcons just did for very similar reasons. They've invested on offense. They are going to be cap strong with Kirk Cousins for like the 2 years of guarantee. Yeah, 2 years of guaranteed money. They're going to have Drake London, Kyle Pitts to pay down the road. So like. Yeah, and now they got a guy that can develop behind the scenes. So, to get chemistry. And realistically, Kirk's going to keep them in that 19-20 round, 20 pick range. So I don't think they're going to be picking in the top 10 again. So I think they got value. Like I know it's a.
Yeah, but do you think they should have drafted a player to help contribute this year to winning, the NFC South, the division that is very much, a team, can anyone's ball game. There's no Chiefs in there. There is no Dolphins. There's no Bills. No Detroit Lions. I mean, you could say that it's a pretty level playing field.
I'm almost going to give the Falcons the same treatment as I'm giving Washington. I will judge not one player on Washington's roster under Ron Rivera's. We're changing every 6 weeks what our direction is. I like Arthur Smith because I do like his run principles, and I like kind of how he offensive coordinates a game. I got to say that the way that they deployed some of their weapons with like what I would call pedestrian quarterback play, it's hard to really judge that roster. I apologize. Desmond Ridder, you were amazing in Cincinnati. But what I'm saying is, it's like I think we all can agree that Kyle Pitts is a all-world talent. The production hasn't lined up. So what I'm saying is like when you have players that are uber talented, sometimes they just don't translate because they don't fit a scheme. I think there is potential for growth because what I was telling Aaron earlier, when I look at what the Falcons have now done, I look at Penix very similar to Rivers, and I'm not just talking about the goofy throwing motion. It's like left-handed to right-handed, but like he has that ability to push the ball down the field, and he wants to push the ball down the field, very similar to Phillip Rivers. Well, what did Phillip Rivers have? LaDainian Tomlinson, very tall wide receivers in Vincent Jackson and Malcolm Floyd. So I'm like, dude, like they have realistically with the defensive minded. Yeah, I'm letting you pick your team's flowers. Like I was going to let you have it. That was your boy.
Malcolm Floyd.
Because
Patrick Creighton too.
I love Patrick Creighton. No, because Antonio Gates is your boy. I was going to let you come in with it, but I'm sorry, I've been slandered.
He's not a Hall of Fame talent, so it's easy to forget.
No, he is Hall of Fame talent. Look, Andre got it. Look, just be happy, Andre. Just be happy Andre Johnson got in. Miami U represent.
I hope he's being sarcastic.
No, he loves Antonio Gates. He loves it. Like he is.
No, I'm throwing shade at the NFL.
Oh, me too.
So anyway, what I'm saying is, it's like I feel like they have the pieces to run that type of offense, and they have a defensive-minded coach. I think that's like they are going to be able to draft defensive players. Typically, when you are a good coach and a good coordinator, if you're a defensive coach, invest heavily on the offensive side because you can make mid-round picks work, and you can maximize the players that maybe don't have the upside on your side of the ball because realistically, you're a defensive coach. You should be able to maximize the players with lesser value to get the most out of them. So when you invest on the other side of the ball, because you're going to lose coordinators and maybe have to switch schemes, you want the most talent on the side of the ball that you're not overseeing. So I like it. I mean, dude, like the Chargers had defensive coaches and it worked with, there. I mean, not Norv, but Marty definitely was Marty Ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, they had very good defensive.
Yeah, great defensive coordinator, Ron Rivera.
They did. Exactly. You can be a great coordinator and not be a great head coach. I mean, dude, let's. I mean, do we not think Cam Newton maybe has a ring if he didn't have 15 years of Ron Rivera as his head coach? I mean, I think he played good enough to get one. But Ron Rivera was definitely investing on that defense. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you have a defensive coach, he should be investing heavily on the other side of the ball because he should be able to maximize his side of the ball, and that's what he's overseeing. The Ron Rivera did it the opposite way. And I'm just saying, when you change your direction, what he did in Washington, it's definitely different from the circumstances that he had in Carolina. But he also had Luke Kuechly. And correct. I think we all can agree that Luke Kuechly is the man.
Yes. Yeah. Probably the second or third greatest linebacker I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, so Atlanta's got their flowers. I think what we're saying is we're giving a real rash side to what we think Atlanta did. And I it might not be the popular thing. Yes, you could talk about building. Dude, but if you love the quarterback, dude, I think, dude, if you took the injury, we can't do that, but if you took the injuries away out of his scouting report, I think Michael Penix is probably the second or third quarterback. Yeah. On probably a bunch of teams' boards. Realistically, you got Caleb Williams, who's considered the generational guy, which is the loosest lip term ever given anymore. Because now if you're the top pick and you're just a tier above, you're generational. But okay, Andrew Luck was generational.
Yes, absolutely.
I would consider Joe Burrow as generational talent to come out.
And you can almost question Joe Burrow because of the amount of film, but that season, yes, yes.
And he played on a super stacked team.
Right, there were questions because for everything everybody was knocking about, they didn't question this with Joe Burrow compared to Jaden Daniels. I'm like, well, yes, they did. Yes, they did. Everybody questioned that he had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. It wasn't maybe to the extreme that they talked about with Jaden Daniels, but I don't think Jaden Daniels' biggest knock was actually playing with talent. I think it was that he was there for 4 years and you had 4 years of slowly progressed tape to where Joe Burrow just got to come out and ball out. There's a different, dude, everybody's path is different. Right. There's always a different trajectory.
100%.
So
I wanted to ask you guys what you guys thought was the most made sense pick to you guys, but maybe was kind of off of the radar, that what you saw coming. What pick was announced and you're like, wow, that really makes a lot of sense. Wow, that was a good pick. Which one? Because we could sit here all day.
Well, the one that made the most sense to me was Roma Dunze, but that wasn't out of left field. I think we said that Roma Dunze was going to, we took Murphy, but that's because they had a defensive coach and we tried to get dude, we were getting to the point where it's there's not usually a draft where it goes 14 players before a defensive player gets picked. So it's we tried to keep it somewhat normal to what typically happens in a draft. But we very much said Roma Dunze, Chicago, that makes the most sense.
Well, and just also, when you're a very top-end player in the draft, it's even if you don't necessarily have the need at that position, sometimes just trumping it is just getting a superstar level player. It's
I would say Detroit.
That's where Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, Terrion Arnold. I mean, dude, I like Terrion Arnold. I love the D-backs, of course. Terrion Arnold, he fits exactly what they need. The value was amazing because you never expected him to be there.
Right. They did have to move up to get him. I think they gave up some, I think it was maybe a fourth
But Tyrion Owner was in the teens. Like it was consensus that he was teens, going in the teens. And because the defensive run didn't come until 14, he made it to the 20s. I mean, they moved up, but that was somebody that they probably had in the top 10 on their board. Knowing that their the positional needs for their team.
Oh yeah, and I think defensive back is probably where they could probably use the most help on that team, and the fact that they were able to get a top end player in this class and without giving up a super premium pick for him. So you got your team better, you got a really good player, and you fill the need. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do in the draft.
Yeah.
Let the board come to you. And he probably wouldn't have been there if they would have picked, at their original spot. I think it was 27 or 28.
Right.
I think Terrion is a good pick. I actually really like what San Francisco did.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
I like Pearsall. I like it, and I think in that system that they run on offense, he's going to be able to flourish. And it seems like they wanted to move Ayuk, but I heard something about them wanting to trade Deebo Samuel. Mm-hmm. So it's
I mean, I can see it. I can see it because, dude, when you watched San Francisco last year, you could tell Purdy has the chemistry with Ayuk. Ayuk.
Deebo
he's a gadget.
Yeah, he's always hurt.
But he's a gadget. He's what we were talking about, yesterday, talking about worthy to Dallas and talking about worthy to the Chiefs. It's it's not because he's the all-pro blue chip prospect. He's a red chip, but he is a versatile red chip that has blue chip qualities, and you deploy him to his strengths and you do the gadget things with him, he's dangerous. And Andy Reid is famous for doing those things. It's basically what you're saying. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has a really good history with 6'2" plus wide receivers that are big that can catch the ball physically and catch through contact. I mean, it's always worked with him. Whether it was Andre in Houston.
And Pearsall, he has not had good quarterback play.
He has had no quarterback play, and I mean, he has the highlight catch of the lifetime. He has a better Odell than Odell. Right. The dude's got hands. Yeah.
Doing the Odell.
3-way.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually pay extra for that type of action con.
Aaron, what do you think? What was a pick that stood out to you?
I have two. Okay. I really like the Malik Neighbors pick.
Yeah.
I really, really like that because I honestly thought, this is just me and my crazy mind, I thought the Giants were going to go QB.
I think they very much were on Drake May and nobody.
Okay.
That we kind of spoke to that yesterday. It was like if they can't get Drake May, it's nobody. It's Drake May or receiver, best player available. That was kind of our take on. I mean, dude, Malik Neighbors is that dude. We were talking about.
He's a game breaker.
I basically comped him to a bigger version of Garrett Wilson. Very explosive athlete, plays above the rim. You can get him the ball in short windows, and he can take it 60. He can beat you. He can beat you with separation down the field.
That team needs a number one. Yeah, they have the long strides.
They need weapons. They need weapons. They definitely need weapons.
They haven't had a receiver like this since.
Right, you need a chain mover. You need a guy that Daniel. I mean, dude, they've invested in Daniel Jones. If for whatever you think about Daniel Jones, he's never had a safety valve. He's never had a safety outlet. He's been throwing to I mean, he has Saquon, but Saquon's not a. I mean, dude, injuries. Yeah, that's what I mean. Injuries, consistency. He's not an outside weapon. That's still something you can scheme and say, okay, you got one thing, we're gonna take it away. You need multiple things.
But
Darren Waller again, also, injury.
Yeah, and he's kind of on the back nine of his career.
I agree because he's not.
He's getting divorced. You never know. That might help production. And then your other pick.
What was it, Seattle?
Okay.
This was fantastic.
Glad you brought that up, man, because honestly,
that was great value.
Yes, tremendous value.
Great value, and then the funny thing was, it completely hit me last night that the Chargers have one of the Ravens' head scouts, and the Joe pick made sense. One for Harbaugh, one for what the Ravens have been doing for years in the draft. Then it also hit me, and it didn't dawn on me until they made this Murphy selection that, dude, the Ravens always invested heavily at defensive tackle, and they always pick a stud. And Byron Murphy was that dude at defensive tackle, and I was like, holy crap, they had the Ravens defensive coordinator as their head coach, and it just like it totally slapped me that I forgot that Pete Carroll wasn't there anymore. Like,
Seattle's been doing a great job drafting these past couple of years.
oh, dude, I mean, they got my boy Witherspoon last year. I mean,
they got Charles Cross. They drafted the right tackle out of Oregon.
They got the other corner that I really liked a couple years ago, mid-round pick.
Kobe Bryant?
No, well, I like Kobe Bryant, but they also got the one from Woolen, Tariq Woolen, UTSA.
Yeah, the running backs that they've added. I mean, and then obviously the receiver from Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I mean, dude, I remember that draft very vividly because I had Tariq Woolen like at like ranked 33, and like he's sitting there in like round like 3 or whatever. You're like, I'm like, okay, man, yeah.
You know what? I'd love to talk about Seattle. What are they going to do with QB?
It's funny we kind of brought that up yesterday.
Yeah, because they're kind of in that same. I mean,
mid-range, like you going to stick with Geno or
you got Sam Howell. You got the guy. You got the guy. I mean, I think Sam Howell's got to earn it. I mean, I tell a lot of people, dude, like for a 5th round guy, if you look at like the trajectory of 5th round or like 3rd round or later quarterbacks over the history of the NFL, like sometimes they get 5 starts. Like you get like a 5-star window, and then when they shit the bed, it's like you might not even see him again. Like the man had a whole season. It's not like Sam Howell didn't like show flashes that he could play, which is clearly why he got traded for. And there was other suitors. Like they said, the Rams were like very heavy into like trying to trade for him too. But I'm like, dude, Sam Howell showed he can play. He definitely showed he can play. And Seattle has had a tendency for taking guys that can push the ball down the field that maybe have like a higher percentage of like interceptable passes and trying to correct that. Like over time, they did it with Geno. Geno was the same thing in New York. I mean, we can all talk about his time in New York and the weapons and like an aged out roster and the things that were going on in his time. But like, almost a very similar situation. Like the end of an era, the Rex Ryan era. Like they drafted Geno. He had a very short window there. Like interceptable passes, like needed time to develop. Was a 2nd round player anyway. And it's like realistically had a really short leash, and then it took him so long to get that second chance. It's like, dude, you almost are doing the same thing with Sam Howell, but he might see the field quicker. Like it's one injury away, or it's, dude, like Sam Howell just vibes with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in practice, and it's like, dude, like how a locker room is. Like when they see somebody building chemistry and things aren't going the way that they want with the guy that you really want on the field as a coaching staff trying to keep your job, it's like, you start feeling pressure. Like you start hearing the voices. It's like, well, maybe I got to get Sam Howell on the field. I mean, that's how Russell Wilson got on the field when they signed Matt Flynn.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, Seattle has been respectable since Pete Carroll. They went from being unrespectable and they were just sinking draft picks, and you were like, oh, did Sneaky Pete just like, is he on his way out?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, there was kind of a window there when they lost to Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl with the Shaun Alexander's Hasselback Seahawks.
Right.
To the Russell Wilson Seahawks, that it really wasn't, nothing was really catching on.
They were building, but like you could tell the defense was playing. You could tell they were like making strides. They just kept sinking draft picks, and then all of a sudden, like they signed Matt Flynn. They thought they were going to start Matt Flynn, and then next thing you know, you're watching this, 5'11" rookie from Wisconsin and NC State, like who wasn't driving the truck. He was definitely a trailer when they were winning, but it was like, they had Marshawn Lynch, and like all of a sudden you got beastquakes coming, and like you're getting a little bit of offensive production, and like Russell could make the throw. Like he could make that big play throw at the end of the game when they needed it and protect the ball in the meantime. And it worked. Like it's like, and even he had the interception like thing in college. Like he had the interception and like rate and like bad throws and things like that. You can chalk that up to Wisconsin, their weapons and things like that, and NC State, similar situation. But it's like Snyder has shown that he has a type. He likes a guy that can push the ball down the field, is not scared to push the ball down the field, will make a questionable decision, but like it's almost like he like makes them figure it out. It's like, like with experience, it's like, okay, maybe he makes a questionable decision, but if he does it enough times on tape and we work with him enough, it's like he'll figure it out, and he gives them the time to do it. It's like, like the coaching staff will do enough things around you to supplement a winning culture, like it's like, I mean, and it worked. It's worked to this point. I mean, Pete Carroll lasted what, 10 years? I mean,
yeah,
it's been pretty stable. And like, Mike McDonald did really good last year. I mean, he shut Patrick Mahomes' ass down in the playoffs. I mean, like they were right there. I mean, they were a Zay Flowers like fumble at the one away from.
Or Lamar Jackson throwing into triple coverage.
The bounce plays of the game. They were those away.
And they definitely lost composure.
But that's the difference between a team that's repeating and a team that's just really get there. Trying to break that door down. We've seen it with the Bills. Like Patrick Mahomes is like the Tom Brady of this era. It's like they keep teams from like progressing past that point. Like it's like, dude, like it's like the Michael Jordan effect, dude. Like you want to get there, you're going through them. So like if you're kicking a door down, that's a big door to kick. I think we all can agree on that. All right.
Let's move on to what we're excited to see tonight. Second, third round.
Well, I'm excited for 5 picks.
Yeah, that's fun. That's always fun when you have, everyone wants to have the 2 first-round picks, and but it's really nice to have those, a lot of picks in the top 100.
I wore my Montez Sweat signed hat today. When I was out riding around, and I was like, it's crazy. I got one of my favorite players to sign a hat, and then we traded his ass away. But I mean, I get it. Like, but we get a pick for him. We got a top 10 pick tonight. So we have 2 picks in the top 10 of the second round. Sometimes you just got to start over. Sometimes you got to move over. And I like honestly, it's a complete total reset. And like honestly, like the Dan Snyder thing is gone. Hallelujah. And like 5 picks in the first in tonight. We got a pick for Chase Young. We got a pick for Montez Sweat. We traded Sam Howell for a 3rd rounder. Like, we took almost basically every identifying piece of like the last regime, got respectable value for it. We upped the 5th round grade. The 5th round value that we spent on Sam and got a 3rd for it. So it's like, yes, we had to we swapped a 3rd for a 4th, but it's still a 3rd round pick tonight. So 5 picks tonight, man, like JD5, man, build around him. Like put things on defense and put things on offense. The first thing I would look for is offensive line. That would be one of my top 2 picks in the second round. The other pick could be cornerback, wide receiver.
Yeah. See, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, it's like I would like 1 pick to address the trenches again and 1 pick to address the boundary of the field, whether it be a corner, maybe even a nickel.
Doesn't matter which side. Yeah, it doesn't matter which side of the ball.
Then, I'd like another pick to maybe be a defensive tackle, a stack linebacker, tight end.
You know how I am about my defensive tackles and my guards. I love my interior play.
It's like I wouldn't even. It's just kind of a little silly to say, but if we double dipped in the Michigan prospect pool this year, I would be so happy.
I love Zach Zinner.
Yeah,
Mike Samberstill.
Right, yeah. If we get Samberstill or if we get Junior Colson and then come back and get Chris Jenkins, it's like I just want to continue to build the identity of this team because we are completely retooling everything. Granted, we have the quarterback in place, we have the offensive lineman in place, we have a safety in place, we have a corner in place, but it's like the inside of the field, the linebacker, the center, the middle,
the heart,
the thump of the team. It's just the running back.
The thing you cannot win playoff football games without that have been so devalued.
Yeah, and just Harbaugh, he and Joe Ortiz, especially for what he's been able to build in Baltimore throughout the years, they have shown the ability to find guys that are just going to buy into winning, and that's what I want to see. Obviously, everybody wants to get a receiver that's going to get 1,300 yards and double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah, everybody wants their Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Everybody wants that, but it's just maybe Jim Harbaugh doesn't.
I like his style. Like me, I love the old school style. Like I've always preached that the old school style wins. Now, what I will say is I have evolved in my thing because I've always liked running quarterbacks. I was very nervous about this one because of his size, but like realistically, if you're a dog, you're a dog. Honestly, I'm basically where you are. I've came up with 2 names at the 2 positions outside of the trenches. And it's really like Ladd McConkey for like working the middle of the field, something that Jake Daniels is like that. Oh, he doesn't work the middle of the field. Well, I'm like, well, okay, well, they don't have a slot guy and they don't have a tight end at LSU. So like, I'm not that they don't have the position, but they don't have that NFL level weapon. Yeah. Like when you got the 2 guys outside, you're probably not going to throw over the middle as much. Right. So like, I look at Ladd McConkey and I'm like, you need, if you're going to play in the playoffs and you're going to win meaningful games, you need to have that guy that wins over the middle field. And you do it one of 2 ways. You do it with the tight end. You can do it with a scat back, which, can come out of the backfield, which You yeah, you got Austin Eckler, but like you still need the other guy. You still need the tight end or the slot receiver, which is Lad McConkey. And then I think about Keon Coleman because if I'm going outside, that can still affect you through the middle of the field. I'm thinking we have Terry. He's a dog outside, contested catches. He does his thing. Like this is finally the time I believe Terry McLaurin gets his flowers, like for being up there with the Debos, the AJ Browns, and the guys of his class, like DK Metcalf, because he finally has a guy that I believe can be the quarterback. But I think about Keon Coleman as the guy that can like work the middle of the field, get the contested catches. That realistically you're going to line up at the slot too. He's the big slot. So like it's the same thing. It's just a different version of the attack. It's like, do you want the Cooper Kupp or do you want the big slot like CD Lamb? I'm not saying that either of those guys are that guy. Just their play style, like a play style comp. And then it was like Sam Still or Rakestraw for Missouri at the cornerback position. It's like, do you want the nickel or do you want the outside? Like it's like you can use both because St. Juice isn't keeping me from an outside corner. Emmanuel Forbes hasn't shown anything to stop me from an outside corner. And
you guys lost Fuller.
Yeah, like we lost Fuller, so it's like, do you take the nickel weapon, like who I love it, Mike Samerstill, or do you want the outside guy? You can use either. Like nobody has shown anything to stop me from looking at either of those spots, and that's why I basically said whether it's the offense or defensive side of the ball, it's almost the same thing that I'm looking for.
Well, Aaron, what do you think? Because Pittsburgh, they went.
I think they made a hell of a pick.
I think he might end up being a guard.
Agreed.
What do you think? When it comes to your roster, where your team is at, obviously you guys want to add a wide receiver. I would think maybe another elite pass catcher potentially.
See, I like Malachi Corley for them.
That's my wide receiver that I really like. I would like. I mean, he's just a really good. When he has the ball in his hands, he makes plays.
And he's like that guy that Pittsburgh gets. That like that Hines Ward, like he will catch the slant, or he can run after the slant. Like like he can run the outs, he can catch through contact, and you can gimmick him. Which Pittsburgh's always like to have the gimmick guy. The guy that can come on jet sweeps and things like that and run after the catch. Yeah, like you get all those Pittsburgh flavors from him, and like you almost have the quarterback now that really like progresses those type of plays because they can play with their legs, like whether it is Russell Wilson, whether it is Justin Fields. I do think they should have like picked up Fields' option.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I also think so because, like you said earlier, it doesn't make any sense because they're going to have to pay that
next year.
Anyway,
even if you see that he's there, $25 million is if you're going to start him next year, he's going to get 25. He's going to get somewhere in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's the going rate for a starting quarterback.
So it's basically like you really just gave yourself. You put yourself in a position to maybe have to franchise him. Because if he sees the field this year,
he will.
And I think there's a very good chance he does. But say he balls. Like if he balls, now you don't have that $25 million safety blanket. Now it's like it's franchise or you are like really playing the 35 up.
Yeah, you kind of just limited an option.
Yeah.
Options are luxuries in football.
Especially at an expensive position.
Yeah. And Russ is only on a 1-year deal, right?
Yep. 1-year cheap deal. Right. I mean, they stole both of them. They stole both of them. I look at Pittsburgh and I love the backs. He knows I've potted many times how high I am on Najee Harris, and then Jaylen Warren he has been a very good compliment.
I
like.
I love Furman personally.
I think giving him a running mate. I don't think you move away. I think you need a running mate with him. Like for y'all's style of game, whether it is the slot guy or it's another tight end, whether it's 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, you got the 2 backs. Dude, like realistically with running quarterbacks, that 12 personnel would be deadly. Like
that's why we brought in Arthur Smith. I know we're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets,
right?
But we don't have the personnel. We have Darnell Washington, who is a freakish monster.
Blocker.
Kind of like what we have with our big tight end. I can't remember his name. The big 6 foot.
Parham.
Yeah, Donald
Parham. Yeah, we've talked about that. He's like yeah. Well, Washington can.
Yeah.
Washington can definitely block. I mean, he's like a flex out extra tackle. Like he's like a
And then we have Hayward. You know, I told you about us
dude.
always drafting the family members.
Dude, we were
We
literally
always draft
talking.
family members.
Dude, we were talking about how rough he kind of like how you could tell he's older.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yeah, I was like, dude, the game really beats you down that bad. Like you know, he plays explosive still, but like you can just see like the
I seen how old he looked last night. Ah man.
he's been great.
He looked like an old uncle.
Yeah, no, he is at this point.
You know what? You know what really kills me for Pittsburgh is I feel like over the last like 5 years, and Pittsburgh has always been known for the linebacker play. And I know this isn't the draft like to really, but there is a guy. But there is a guy very much worth, I think, where pick 50. You guys are like around pick 50. Edgerrin Cooper fits like he fits the what you think about the middle of like the Pittsburgh defense over the years, and I feel like dude, you all invested in Devin Bush like originally with the draft pick, like y'all paid Cole Holcomb and he was looking good, and it's like he got hurt.
Yes.
He fit.
You guys signed Patrick Queen, right?
Correct.
Yes, but like dude, like we were talking about Troy, you know the Troys, but dude, like back in that era, it wasn't just one; they had multiple. Right.
Like Casey Hampton and Ferrier and Shazier and Larry Foote. I mean, they all didn't play together, but they always had the two inside and the two edge.
And that's what I'm getting, and that's what I'm getting at is like, dude, I know they brought in Patrick Queen, but it's like Patrick Queen had Roquan when it worked. When he played. That's what I'm saying. So like, dude, like you invested heavily in a position that's devalued. It's not devalued to me or anybody.
It's not devalued to teams that win football.
Right.
Look at the teams that made it to the Final Four this year. Look at what they had at linebacker.
But dude, like if I think about getting after Lamar Jackson's ass because he's going to move, and like, dude, he's been a thorn in y'all's side if T.J. Watt doesn't get there, or Hayward. So like, what I'm thinking is like, dude, you guys have the front. You're missing the heart. Like you addressed it with Patrick Queen, who's a run and chase, but like you put the cerebral guy who is just as equally athletic beside him in Edgerrin Cooper, who can quarterback the defense, I believe.
See, I think Junior Colson is more of the quarterback of the defense.
But
the green guy. Edgerrin Cooper is more of just like
the run and chase.
And let him blow it up. Whether it's shooting a gap, covering the flat, playing a tight end.
But do you think you get that? But do you think you get the athletic profile from Colson that you get from Cooper?
No, you get the athletic profile in Cooper, but you don't get it as much
mentally. Like but there is a fall off, but there is definitely the gap. It's like you get the mental with Colston with a little bit less athletic to where you get a little bit less mental pre-snap diagnosis. But dude, like I've seen Cooper pre-read. Almost to where like he hits a gap that wasn't even like his assignment, but he looked at the formation. Like I don't think he's Luke Kuechly. I definitely don't think he's Junior Colston in that level either. But what I'm saying is like I think he knows what he's seeing. I don't think he's just read and chase or like see it and chase it like Jamin Davis almost like what we've talked about with Jamin Davis over the years. Like it's where he doesn't look at what he's seeing pre-snap and then say, "Oh, okay, I need to go here instead of here, even though my assignment is here." I can get there here, to where I think Cooper can do a little bit of that. I don't think he's to the level of Junior Colston, but I think it's enough to where when you got Patrick Queen beside him, I think there's enough systematically, especially with T.J. Watt and Hayward and the guys in front of him, to where you can get away with it.
Yeah. What else does Pittsburgh have? I mean, they drafted Joey Porter last year. Mm-hmm. What else are you guys looking at corner? What else is your defensive back situation?
I thought Tyrion Arnold was perfect for you.
Yeah. Not anymore. Well, I think we're looking at Cooper from Iowa.
Okay. Cooper DeJean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a good pick. It would be a good fit for us.
Nice zone, like the zone complement, almost similar to why we were saying Tyrion Arnold. Like you got the man, you got the press man. But now you can like attack different sides. Like you can switch their sides based off the way that the offense deploys their weapons. It's like I'm going to cover this guy's zone, but this guy I need to get off. Right.
You kind of have a Swiss Army knife in the defensive backfield.
But the thing about DeJean is I think he's a little bit tight-hipped. That's why he didn't run the 3-cone.
Yeah.
I know there's an injury or whatever, but like what I mean is like he is a zone guy. Like what I'm saying is like You're going up against Jamar Chase. Let's stop this guy on the line of scrimmage. Let's get hands on him at the line of scrimmage, and then I'm gonna cover a little bit off on the other side because I'm slowing Joe Burrow's first one to go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like now I can play.
TJ want that extra step that
Yes.
he needs to get home.
Because I can play off on the other side and have Cooper scanning. You know what I'm saying? So like if he sees him turn his head, now he can jump the route. It's similar to Seattle when they had Maxwell who was going to press you and then Sherman playing a little bit more off.
And Brandon Browner getting pass interference.
But 100% pass interference. Like 65%. 65% of the time it works every time. Yeah, I definitely like what like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, is it year to year? Is it year to year with Tomlin? Like, and that's just what bothers me with what Pittsburgh's doing right now. Because, dude, I respect Pittsburgh. I'm a Washington fan. We are the opposite of what Pittsburgh has done in their history. So
yeah, Pittsburgh, they're like an institution.
Yeah, they are, and they hold true. So like, I just want clarity.
They have an identity of football player, kind of like what the Packers do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they draft a guy and they're like, yeah, that's a Pittsburgh.
I mean, but Tomlin was like in the farm for them behind Cowher. So like, I'm just trying to figure out, is like, are you guys grooming somebody else? Are you really trying to get away from Tomlin, or like, is it just that we missed kind of on the quarterback and like.
Yes.
Once Fields or Wilson, because Wilson I think can still play.
I don't think that. I think he's gonna have something to prove this year.
I mean, dude,
he might get the best season you get from Russell Wilson in a while.
I mean, dude, like he does not fit Sean Payton's offense. Like Sean Payton is timing, rhythm, and go. Like Russell Wilson is freelance. Like
Russell Wilson, you let him, kind of like be like the elite, crafty point guard.
Right, move around, spy the field, like Patrick Mahomes light at this point.
Yeah, let him use his legs to extend plays.
Let things open up a little bit later.
Let receivers run routes that don't stop.
Right.
Let them, like crossing routes. Where you're going to get breaks in the coverage.
That's
what you need.
I do want to bring up a team because I want to give them their flowers because honestly, man, like if you looked at what that roster was 2 years ago, I think they really made some smart decisions and they're reaping the benefits of it. No, Arizona. Honestly, I feel like, opposite of the Houston Texans where they built the roster and then found the quarterback that fit their vision. They basically had their quarterback are retooling the roster, but they found a way to fit their vision just in a different path to where they have Kyler. Kyler has shown he can win. He came back from injury and was running and wasn't hesitant. Like last year, they drafted their premier level, talent level offensive lineman.
Right.
And then this year they hit the edge and wide receiver.
Yeah, and I think
they got
2 picks. They have 10 more picks in this draft.
Yeah, like
they're kind of in a cool spot because they're able to rebuild, but they don't have to restart at the quarterback.
Right, and
eventually they might move on from Kyler. If they might,
I like Kyler. Like I still like Kyler, dude. Like I know he's small, and I know you're basically lined up to pretty much 75% pistol or shotgun. Because you can't drop him back from under center a lot to scan a field. It's it's not going to work. He's not going to see till third step. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah,
but
you have to adjust your offense to what he can do.
I think the only thing that hurts Arizona with deploying the offense that Kyler basically needs to be able to scan the field the way that he does. Because dude, we all know he can throw. We know that he can put the ball at a certain spot at a certain time. We've seen that. It's the problem that he can't do it from under center. With realistically, like you can't throw a 10-yard out from under center because he's too short. He's going to get every pass batted down, so you've got to give him the space. Yeah. But it's like it kills their run game outside of what he's doing, freelancing. Like if they could find a way to like triple option and like make that effective more towards what like Baltimore's doing, I think that takes them over the top.
I mean, their run game. Those last 4 weeks of the season,
it worked.
Was very, very good.
They were playing well down the stretch.
James Conner was playing out of his mind.
I mean, they have a defensive coach, but that's what I mean. Like they almost need that. That's what I was getting to. They need a back. Like they like what I've always said about Lamar needing like a Derrick Henry or like that guy. And it's not that Baltimore didn't invest to try to get that guy. Like they spent the picks. Like Dobbins just kept getting hurt. Gus Edwards was serviceable for year 2. And good for 2. Like he always performed, but it's like Kyler needs his runner. Like he needs his bruiser. Like he needs the back. Like he needs that guy. Like that like Brooks from Texas. Like that 220. Like
Yeah.
can go from pistol and make something out of a smaller window. You know, like we can beat you down, and then Kyler just runs your ass tired. Like it's like I can work with that. Dude, 2 years ago, you looked at Arizona's roster and you were like, they're screwed. But they made a trade. They sacrificed it with a trade, moved back, still got the tackle, and then like, dude, they just got Marvin Harrison Jr. And we can say whatever about their facilities and the way that they treat their players and families and things like that. Nobody wants to go to Arizona other than the fact that it's in Arizona. But it's like, dude, like that coach is a good defensive coach, man. Like he had Philly's like there was a difference between Philly's defense when they made the Super Bowl run and what they were last year. That big difference, noticeable difference. Like because Shane Steichen's the offensive guy with the Colts, and then I can't remember who I'm talking about. Their Arizona's coach. I can't remember his name. I'm like literally drawing a blank. I'll get it 5 minutes after the pod. But like what I'm saying is, it's like, dude, they have shown really good poise and really good vision, and I like what they did to really almost like they almost got to the point where they were like, we have an expensive quarterback and nothing around him, and that is almost like being on the executioner block. When you have a quarterback with nothing around him, it's hard to build when you have an expensive quarterback. But they found Jonathan Gannon, like they found a way to make it work. And like I got to give them flowers for that because I respect the turnaround that they've shown. Like what is the perk of the league? The quarterback on the rookie window. Well, they paid their quarterback, and now and there were questions, dude. There were questions.
Oh, 100%.
There were questions to paying him.
Yeah, they were kind of questioning,
his love for the game, the Call of Duty thing, or
was it Fortnite? I don't know.
No, it's Call of Duty.
It was Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. It was coming out on the same day as the first week of the playoffs. Was Kyler going to be there? Is that why they're losing the last 7 games? Yeah. But like I said, I had to bring that up because it was something that I didn't expect to get brought up, but it's something that I just, as a guy that thinks about building a team, I respect it. I can respect like almost being in the situation you don't want to be in and then making it work, like due to draft capital assets. Like I love it. A team that has gotten a lot of pup the last couple of years that I feel like nobody's talking about that performed pretty well last year, Cleveland. Nobody's talking about them. They didn't own the picks.
Right.
What do we think about Cleveland? I mean, dude, that defense.
With my honest opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I want your honest opinion. That's why I brought them up.
I might hate Cleveland. I might hate them a lot. I'm gonna look at the camera first. I might hate you guys a lot, but I respect you guys.
I think I see Busy Bone outside pointing an Uzi at you.
He had the snipe. He was ready to go. He was like, if he says it, I'm
That's
going.
fine. Go ahead. Dude, they have a nice ass defense. The fact that Nick Chubb got injured last year honestly hurt me.
And they still produced.
Man, he is fantastic.
I mean, Jerome Ford is that dude. I had a very high grade. I had a very high grade on Jerome Ford.
I liked everybody on that Cincinnati roster.
Yeah, we were very much on the Cincinnati fans. I mean, Sauce Gardner was the best player in the draft. But
he was the bell of the ball. But
I mean, but a small school guy, school guy being your best player in the draft, like I think that says something, especially a cornerback position. Like there was definitely a bust factor to that, like going up in level of play.
Did Cleveland go out and get Jerry Jeudy? That was the team that yes.
They got Jerry Jeudy, but they had Coop. Dude, Coop never gets his fly.
Yes.
I think they do. Nah.
He's in Detroit now.
I think he's in Detroit.
I was going to say they have Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. They traded for him in the season.
I think the real question is, and dude, for all the things that have transpired since this is like the O.J. Simpson thing. I don't care about off the field right now when I'm making this point, but I had a very high grade on Deshaun Watson, and I have knocked Deshaun Watson for as much as I love his play. He has not progressed. Dude, I love running quarterbacks, and dude, I thought he had every tool, and he started to show it, but he had that safety outlet in Hopkins, and I felt like that hindered his growth more to where last year I started to see him hit them rhythm passes with Amari Cooper, because Amari Cooper is rhythm. He is break you down, chop you up, hit me, because I'm only getting that split second of separation because I'm not a burner. And I think Watson started to progress a little bit. And I think it was ugly because I think he worked at it. Sometimes it's ugly when you start to before you see the results. oh, he's only completing this many passes. Oh, he's not tearing the world apart. But he's playing a different game now, and he's actually kind of doing okay. But sometimes it's got to be okay before it hits. Like you're changing your game, you're changing your style. Like it's not just the Deshaun Watson like run around show anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why I knocked him for like development, but like actually he's kind of
He's getting up there. That one game that encapsulates everything you said. That game against the Ravens.
right, right.
That was where he proved to me that he still has it. First of all,
But he's
he's
getting
better.
yes, like
now I don't know what is it, his shoulder this year.
I mean he's rubbing it out. Pun intended. Oh, sorry, I couldn't do it. Look, we can be real. We can be real.
No, but his shoulder, I guess, it's gonna hold him back. I hope it doesn't. I hope he plays.
I think they need another receiver.
Yeah, they definitely need another pass catcher.
I think they need that guy. I think they need that guy that stretches the field.
I mean,
Judy.
it could be Judy, but I don't think you can count on him for.
I am not. Judy is anything you get from this point on is value.
Right.
That's where I'm at with Judy.
It's like a reclamation project.
I would not. Judy stops me. We always had that saying. This player does not stop me from upgrading.
Yeah.
Judy is that guy for me. Like if he decides to get back to that Calvin Ridley style of like breaking guys down and like actually like coming out of routes in the right place, and it works.
But the bones of what Cleveland has is really good. They have a good linebacker in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They obviously have the edge rusher.
They got the edge rusher.
They have a serviceable tight end. They have a number one receiver.
They have the all-pro corner.
They got and Newsom. I mean, they have.
And Newsom, right? They got the safety
and the offensive line,
right? Like they have every piece.
Yeah, I think they might need on offense like a game breaker.
Dude, I think if they can find a way to deploy if Chubb comes back 75% of what he was. I'm not talking if you can find a way to still make Chubb efficient with maybe 10 less carries and you incorporate Jerome Ford, who is a bruiser, dude. I mean, dude, he breaks you down.
They didn't re-up Kareem Hunt, right?
No. Like there's a path for Cleveland competing for really getting to the Chiefs.
Every team in that AFC North division,
there's definitely a path. There's definitely a path. Joe Burrow staying healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Burrow stays healthy, you're there.
Yeah.
Like I think we all can agree at this point. Like Burrow's magic as long as he's holding up. Like that is what he is.
Yeah.
Like if he's on the field.
And I like the pick they made yesterday to help with that.
Dude, I do too. I do too.
They had a lot of, distractions when it comes to T. Higgins and, Hendrickson wanting, to be moved. It's like, be easy to draft a guy to fill that void and move him. But they're like, no, we're just going to, stay true to what we need to do and protect our quarterback.
Yeah.
Like what they did.
Yeah, I like what they did too.
I think every team in the AFC North got better. I mean, the Ravens, they just somehow seem to always get a really good player that falls to them. And, I fault Wiggins for, as a person, when I watch college players and they, especially defensive backs, I like to see them like to make tackles.
Dude, it's like I texted you.
Like the Antoine Winfield corner.
Oh,
that's like the kind
that's why I like Rakestraw.
Right.
Like I've seen that guy blow up linemen, like as a corner.
But, Wiggins is so fast. Like I remember watching Clemson last year, and like he would be like 17 yards, 10 yards behind the receiver that's breaking for the end zone. I remember twice he caught him down and punched the ball.
I'll tell you about fast corners. What was his name? Gilbert out of Oklahoma State.
Justin Gilbert.
Yeah, Justin Gilbert.
Yeah, he was like in that like.
I kept trying to tell everyone, dude, like speed at corner is great, but you gotta be able to tackle.
Yeah.
If you have good hips, good feet, and can tackle, the rest comes. Like I try to tell everybody, I'm like, dude, good feet, good hips, and tackle. Everything else comes after that. Because, dude, if you got those things, that means you can cover, and that means you can shadow, and that means you can mirror. That means you can play off, or I can work with you in your hand development to play you in man. If you can tackle, and if you have good feet and good hips. The rest comes from just being in the right position. That's how corners win. And, it's something that I think these teams really just, they get so cute. Oh, 4-3-3, 4-3-3, 4. Dude, that's great. Yeah, tackle. Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, great. He's coming at you full speed on the outside. Yeah, at least bring him down.
He's gonna have to go up against Derrick Henry in practice. So
right.
He's gonna have to figure something.
He's gonna have to figure something out. Like it's funny because TC loved the pick, and he has knocked every Baltimore pick for the last 5 years, and I'm like, dude, y'all picked a stud. Y'all picked a. He did like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, you literally hate every pick that I love for y'all. And then last night I was like, you picked the one corner. You picked the one corner that I don't love, and I do the D-back.
It's so weird because Baltimore usually I can see what they're doing.
Oh, dude, I usually love what Baltimore does. I actually love what they did because they didn't do what I love. They deserve it. It's karma. You cannot hit every year. You cannot hit, and you do not get Kyle Hamilton and continue to hit like you took my dude. Well, we passed on him, so I mean that's just Ron Rivera's fault. But anyway, player tonight that you really really hope comes on your team, and we'll end it with that. One player tonight. You can pick any of them.
Does it have to be in the second or third round? It can be any player
tonight.
Renardo Green.
I like it.
Defensive back from Florida State. Michigan loves playing man coverage on corner. They like doing press man, and
Florida State has shown that they are beneficial to your backfield.
Yes. My goal is to make the all Florida State backfield and the all Michigan front seven.
So you can get Prime as your backfield, your D-backs coach.
He makes so much money. He'll come live in LA and just take the cushy defensive.
His kids are going to the NFL next year anyway, man. Just come to the Chargers and be our defensive backs coach.
Yeah.
Coach Prime.
Yeah, they would have Brandon Graham.
I love Deion.
Defensive tackles. Oh, I don't know. But I would like Renardo Green. I mean, I really wanted to not say a Michigan player because I could easily say Blake Corum maybe.
I'm not going to say a Michigan player. I promise I won't.
I like Sam Still. I
love Sam Still. Love Zach Zinner. I love Zach Zinner.
I like TJ Tampa a lot as an outside boundary corner. What's the Oregon corner? Kyrie Jackson?
Yeah. It's Kyrie Jackson. I'm pretty sure.
Kyrie Jackson.
I love his game. I love his feet. Good Lord. You want to talk about good feet. Good feet on tape. Love them.
Sucking his toes.
Whoa.
Look, man. Look, dude. Look, when you play defensive back and you watch defensive back, man, there's just a thing. There's a system. There's a system, and there's certain guys that you watch. If you want to progress your game, man, and I'm telling you, it starts with the feet. Not everybody has great hips. But everybody can work on the feet. Everybody can work on the feet. And that's where it starts. And if you have great feet, dude, you have a really good foundation.
Yes.
And then tackle. If you got, like I said, if you got those things, I can work with you. And he has amazing feet. And I love Oregon defensive backs. Like, dude, like they've been putting them out. Like, dude, like Javon Holland, like Christian Gonzalez, like they're putting them out. They're showing a formula. They're almost back to like the UW days with like Trent McDuffie and Peters and just all them guys that continue to come out of Washington.
Oh, they were back.
Yeah, they were putting them out. Who you want?
I just want to shore up the offensive line one last time. We get Zach Frazier.
That would be good. That'd be
good.
Yeah. Or then we get Justin Powers.
Oh, Jackson Powers Johnson? I love Jackson Powers Johnson, dude. I love this guy.
And I'll be completely fine.
I have like the biggest man crush on Jackson Powers Johnson because I love big centers because centers are always like that 305. Like, and I'm not saying that's not big. That's really big. I'm 170 pounds. So like clearly it's big, but like it's like 325 plus that can move and pull. Like you, like dude, like I might be a little guy, but dude, I love watching big dudes just go and pull and get into the open field and start blowing things up.
Next Pouncey.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Be the replacement.
That would be great. And I do, and dude, like honestly, for what I think, where Russell Wilson has struggled, which is why they dude, like, where did Russell Wilson start to lose his game? Like, yes, he became a passer, but it was like, dude, when they traded their center to the Saints, Unger for Jimmy G, he started to put up the numbers, but he started to get that face pressure, and that's where like, he was cooking, but they were not dominating like they used to be, and they lost that physical prowess. Like, get the center. Justin Fields, same thing. Like, what was Justin Fields doing in Chicago? Like, he had nothing in front of him. Like, dude, like, put a center. Give him real protection. Like, really protect him and then see what you've got. Like, I love it. Yeah. I said I'm not going to name a Michigan. I'm not going to name a Michigan player because I've already named them. I'm going to go to round 3 or 4.
You're not going with the Oregon receiver?
Oh. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 names. Okay. Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin, I do like Troy Franklin because I already brought up Coleman because he played that slot with Ladd McConkey kind of thing. Troy Franklin because I love his outside game and he can also play the slot, be a big slot. Very refined route runner, very similar kind of play style, but like has a little bit more like red zone presence than I think Terry and Jahan offer you. So that almost allows you to like be diverse with like Jahan and Troy, like almost to give two different looks from the slot position. Which you could almost do with Ladd McConkey too, because I think he can line up outside and do some things like kind of like Cooper Kupp does outside. It's very timing and rhythmic, but it's still a different attack. Troy Franklin and Jared Wiley, TCU tight end.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask you about tight end.
Yeah, because we need tight end, and I didn't want to say lineman because I just think that's what's coming off the board for us. Whether it's Morgan's gone, so it would either be Kingsley Sumatia, but I'm kind of worried about him. Yeah. He had like Patrick Paul. That's the one for me. That would be the one that I think we're going to pick. That's why I didn't mention it. Was because I really think it's between those two at this point. They need an athletic like profile offensive tackle. I think Patrick Paul's the one that I would bank on simply because one, we got his brother here already from Tulsa, Chris Paul, and the other part is there's something about Sumatia. He went to Oregon, kind of got homesick, went back to BYU, like back where he's from, and like, dude, like, okay, well, if you were homesick at Oregon, which isn't that far from Utah, like, dude, we're the East Coast. Yeah, we're the DMV, dude. Yeah. Whole different world. Like, we saw that kind of transpire with Zach Wilson in New York, which is why he's now with Denver. Or Kyle Wilson, as we say, the better version. But yeah. So these are our thoughts, man. Aaron, thank you, love you. Come back, please. You killed it.
Thank
you. You're natural.
Oh, shit.
You're natural.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Stan?
Thank you guys for watching.
Yep. On to round 2 and 3, guys.
Just everybody remember, everybody is optimistic during the draft.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We are all headed for the Super Bowl. We are all headed for Super Bowl chips.
We're all going undefeated.
All right. From the Blue Chip Podcast, man. We're signing off. Peace.